everyone. Welcome back to Simply Moms podcast. As always, we bring information to help empower families, empower moms, empower dads. This is your one-stop shop for all that information. And today we're going to talk about healthy relationships. And I have a visitor for that. And her name is Mimi. Welcome, Mimi. Mimi is going to introduce herself.
Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for tuning in. My name is actually Mireille Levenblad, but nobody can say that. So I just call myself Mimi. I am a mom. I have 3 young ladies. The eldest is 22. The second one is 20. She's about to turn 21, and she's very excited about that. And I have my last born, who is 17, who is actually learning to drive at the moment. And I couldn't even imagine at that age to be driving. And my second one has her license at 20, first go. She got her license. So I'm really proud of my daughters, as you can see.
Good.
I'm married. I've been married for over 22 years. I was born in a country again, and nobody knows. It's called Suriname, which is in the north of South America, in between the 2 Guyanas, above Brazil. And when I was about 8 years old, I moved to the Netherlands. Suriname was colonized by the Dutch.
Okay.
So it was very normal for Surinamese people to be nationalized and to live in the Netherlands. I grew up there, but at some point I decided that I wanted to go to university because I studied biochemistry.
Okay.
And I then went to university in the south of the Netherlands, lived just across the border in Belgium. Wasn't able to finish my studies there. Found a job and did all that. And then I met my husband.
And the rest is what?
And the rest is history. Yeah. We actually met in a supermarket.
Okay.
Yeah. And he behaved as though he's known me for years. Very charming. So I ended up with 3 girls. But along the way, I moved to Kuwait.
Yeah.
Because that's where he was stationed as well.
Okay.
And lived there for about 6 years before we as a family then moved here to the UK, where we still are. And yeah, today, we're talking about healthy relationships. And just want to share with everybody watching that healthy relationships you have not just with other people, your friends, your family, people at work, even strangers you meet in the street.
Yeah.
But you also have the relationship with yourself.
Yeah. So Mimi, I know that you're also a coach. So what do you do as a coach?
Right. So a few months ago now, I resigned my day job and decided to go full-time as a coach. And I call myself the Shine Bright coach because it is really my intention to help as many people as I can to shine, right? To be who God intended them to be. Because when you are who you're meant to be, your light shines very bright. So that is my passion in life. I really enjoy doing that. And yeah.
Nice. I would love to do that. No, but I think that's a good one. That's a good one. So what does healthy relationship mean to you? How does that look like? Explain to us.
Yes. So a healthy relationship is not just with other people, is it? Not just with your family, your friends, strangers even, people at work, anywhere, people you meet in a supermarket like me. So I believe that the most important help or relationship you can have is with yourself. And so having a healthy relationship, especially with yourself, obviously means that you love yourself, you put yourself first, you take care of yourself, and that doesn't mean that you don't care about other people. You know, putting yourself first doesn't mean that you don't care, you only do whatever you want to do. But whenever you put yourself first, you take care of yourself first, make sure that you get enough rest, that you rejuvenate, you know.
So self-care, basically.
Yes. You end up with the energy to actually love and take care of other people, because you cannot give from an empty cup. You know, you need to fill your cup first before you can give.
Interesting, but does that mean that you're selfish? Because as a mom, mostly we keep giving and giving because we don't want to be selfish. We don't want to feel selfish when we're doing something just us. So how can you explain that to a mother who is just giving and giving and giving and not taking care of themselves?
Yeah. To be honest, I consider that being selfish. When you just give and give and give, and I'll explain why. Because when you do that, you end up resenting your children, right? You end up exhausted, that you feel like, why am I doing this? Nobody appreciates me. You know, it's just, you end up doing, you know, what you really don't want to be doing, because you want to be taking care of your children, yes. But it's so important to make sure that you do that from a full cup and not from an empty one. Because when the cup is empty, then it's so hard, you know. That's when I feel you're being selfish.
Like you feel like you're just giving and giving and people are not appreciating, and you're like, why do I even bother?
Exactly. And then ultimately you end up depressed or whatever else. And you know, that to me is selfish.
Okay.
Really, I mean, that's my definition.
All right.
And obviously, what people would normally say when you're selfish is that you only just care about yourself, and you know, you have your opinion, you're not open to anybody else's opinions, and everything is just you. But as a mother, it is very, very important that you are saying me every once in a while, even if it's just like an hour a day. You know, you take a nice bath, you journal, you pray, you meditate, whatever.
Tell them, mothers.
Just to rejuvenate, just to energize yourself, because with that energy you can take so much better care, and you can be present with your children. Right?
That is very, you know, important right there, because as moms we have a lot of mom guilt. When you do something for yourself, you feel like you have to do it for the others. If you go out for a meal with your friends, you're like, oh, what about my family? I've not gone with them on oh, you know, things like that. You feel like you always have to bring everybody along. Yet sometimes you also have to, we're not saying that don't take your families out, you know. Course. That's not what we're saying.
There's 24 hours in a day. I'm sure you can find some time to spend with your family. But most of the time, we are only doing that. We put our family first. And we're not saying that, we're not saying, you know, your family is not important. But to be able to really care is when you care for yourself first.
Okay, so what things, apart from having a bath, what more self-care tips do you have for the mothers?
It's very important
and also the fathers.
The fathers, of course. I like to advise people to create what I call a to-be list. Instead of a to-do list. Because most of the time when we have a to-do list, on that list There'll be things that we actually don't really like doing, right? We don't want to be doing them. We wish other people could do them, but you feel you have to. But when you really sit down and ask yourself, who is it that I want to be? How do I want to feel? And you make your to-be list, you will automatically get inspired to do certain things to make you feel that way. So let me, for example, let's say you have young children and the house is always busy. They're mommy, playing and all of that. So one thing on your to-be list might be, I want peace. I want to feel at peace. So when you do that, you'll find that few moments in the day when the kids are maybe taking a nap, when they are playing by themselves, just before you go to sleep, or you just put them to rest, you will notice, oh, I am at peace now. I feel the peace.
Okay.
You understand? It's when you actually list it and say, this is what I want to feel, then you're gonna notice it, and you're gonna notice it more.
Okay. Does that take it out in so that mommy, calling you all the time, is that going to vanish because of?
No. Absolutely not. What I'm trying to say is that was definitely gonna be there. You cannot change that. Children, they still need you. They're still they need their mom, they need their dad to grow up healthily.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that we often focus on just that they demand so much from us. We just have to be giving, isn't it? So when you sit down and say, how is it that I really want to feel? And I just gave an example of you want to feel at peace. You're just going to notice more of those moments when it's quiet and you have some peace.
I get it.
Yeah. Because where your focus is grows. Right? True. So if you're just focused on, oh my God, I have to do this, I have to do that, and you don't give yourself, even if it's just 5 minutes, to just relax, feel a bit at peace, if that's what you want.
Yeah.
You want to feel happy, you want to feel joy, you want to feel compassion maybe for others and yourself. Make a to-be list.
That's a good one. Make a to-be list.
Yeah, because a to-do list, most of the time, some people have things on their to-do list that's been there for years.
Yeah.
They just keep procrastinating, putting it off because they just really don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you obviously when you make your to-be list, you're not gonna say, I want to feel angry, I want to feel this.
Exactly.
You're gonna look for really nice feelings,
positive stuff.
Positive, yeah, and that will grow more because your focus will be on that.
Interesting. I guess that goes into how to have a healthy relationship then. So if you're having a healthy relationship with yourself, then it's easy to have a healthy relationship with the people around you.
Yes, absolutely. Because again, it's about where your focus is, right? If your focus is on making sure that you get to feel what's on your to-be list and you feel those nice feelings and you're taking care of yourself, you would want to wish that upon the people you love, right? You would want to see them happy and see them or feel compassion towards them. So ultimately then, I feel that's when you have the healthiest relationship with somebody. You will respect them, you will support them whenever they need your help for anything. You, as parents, as a mom and a dad, you will do like responsible parenting, setting boundaries and sticking to them, structure.
Yeah.
So it all becomes so much easier when you feel at peace within yourself, when you feel happy, when you feel joy, and you have given yourself the opportunity to rejuvenate, so you have the energy to do it.
I get that.
Because it's possible to give, but it's possible to do that when you're full, right?
Yeah, and then you won't have any resentment at that point. You'll be like happy to do it.
Exactly, because whatever you're doing is going to make that child happy, make your spouse happy.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's going to be your focus. And it's different from what people might call people pleasing.
Okay.
Because people pleasing is when you're doing something because you want to be liked by the other person, isn't it? You're doing it, you don't want to say no, although you really want to say
no.
Yes, or you know what I mean. You don't really want to do it, but you're afraid that they're not gonna like you, so you do whatever you can to please them. But if you're doing it with the intention to make them happy, and you're doing it because you yourself are happy, then it's so much better than people pleasing and things like that.
That drives me to the point of foundations of healthy relationships. What would you say those are?
Well, like I said, it's about respecting the other person. It's about, as parents, responsible parenting.
Yeah.
It's about supporting the other people in your family or whoever you have the relationship, and even for yourself, you know, it's important to support yourself.
Yeah, communication, I guess.
Communication is very, very important. Setting healthy boundaries and sticking to them, things like that. And again, it all becomes so much easier when you start from yourself.
Nice. So what's the importance of having a communication in a relationship?
Well, let's
from your experience. Yeah.
Communication is vital.
Yeah.
It is very, very important. And I mean, if you are not able to communicate with your spouse or your children or anything,
your friends,
anybody, it just causes friction, misunderstandings, and you wouldn't be able to do whatever's on your to-be list, isn't it? If you're constantly fighting maybe with somebody. I would say that it is so healthy to have your own opinions about something, and being able to communicate that to others, but then respecting their side of the story is also very important.
That is true.
Yeah, coming to some compromise if you don't agree. Let's say, God forbid, you end up arguing, you're fighting. When you're in a healthy relationship, you realize that this is probably not the right time to speak about this because my partner or me, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling upset. So just both of you go and when you're calm again, you'll see that it'll be so much easier to understand the other person. So communicating when you are, when you feel yourself, you feel at peace.
So I guess you're saying that even when we communicate, we shouldn't just communicate anyhow. So if you're angry and it's gonna not come out right, just pack it for a bit, calm down, and then you can communicate better when you're calm.
Yes.
Then that will be respectful communication.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Yeah. And what about for the children as well? I guess it also helps you to model for the kids, like how you're treating your partner or how you're communicating with your partner, or how you're communicating with the kids. It also teaches them how to communicate.
Of course. As parents, children emulate, they copy what we do.
They do.
And what just came to my mind is that when you communicate with a child, you need to go to their level.
Yeah.
Right? You don't stand over them. You just eye contact with them is very important. But I don't know. This is my opinion. About children. What often happens is when anybody, especially a child, when they are upset, they're angry, they're crying, they're in pain or whatever, we tend to give them something to make it stop.
Mm-hmm.
But allowing them to just express that emotion, to cry if they have to, they will calm down much quicker, and the chances are something similar is not going to happen again. They'll learn their lesson quicker. Just allowing them to let it go and express whatever needs to be expressed. There's a limit to the kind of things they may say. They can't be cursing you out and stuff like that. Yeah. They'll soon enough learn that.
Yeah.
But allowing them to just let it go, don't stop them from saying whatever it is that they want to say, and listen to them. Listening, because we as parents often think that we know better because we have so many years of experience, right? We are so much older than our children.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you sit and you listen to them, you can actually learn something.
A lot, yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So when the kids were growing, as we're talking about, communication and life, as they were growing, what do you feel like? Is there something that you feel you missed as they're growing from your experience now?
Yes. And I think I'm not the only one when it comes to this. Because as a mother, as a father, our main priority seems to be to make sure there's food on the table, there's a roof over our head. So you work as hard as you can to make that happen. And I'll admit, in my case, when I now look back, most of the time I was working. My kids were in nursery, they were in after school, they were with a childminder, and all I did was work, and I'd hardly spend time with them. And I can obviously regret that happens, but every day is a new day. So
we don't regret. We learn.
Yeah, exactly.
We learn from their lessons.
You learn, and now I spend more time with my girls.
Yeah.
We go on walks. They come and tell me about their day.
Yeah.
They've been doing that for years, but now I am more present.
Yeah.
What
makes you present now?
The main reason
to understand that.
The main reason is that I don't have a day job anymore. I'm no longer an employee.
Yeah. You're self-employed now.
Yeah. I have time for myself. I don't have to log in a specific time. So I can make time for them now. And they are, trust me, they are taking advantage.
Okay.
Because it's like, Mommy, can you take me here? Can you take me there?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because you're now able to be present for your kids as you're self-employed. Like, what advice would you give us mothers who are, have like younger kids? So how can we be there and present for them?
Right. Now, this is not for everybody.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a route you can follow. When I decided that I wanted to basically follow my heart, helping other people be who they are really meant to be is something that God has put on my heart ever since I was a little girl. I love sharing information with people. As you can see, I'm talking. So it is something that comes from within me. So I would say that if you feel that your day job, your 9 to 5, or how many hours you're working is keeping you away from your children, then you definitely have the freedom, you have the option to go either self-employed, start a business and employ other people, whatever God has set on your heart, in your heart, whatever you hear him
saying to
you, you are free. And even if you don't feel like you have the skills to do it, it will come. He will make sure that you will get provided for, that you have everything you need to be who you're meant to be.
Brilliant. What advice can you give to moms who feel that their relationship has taken a backseat after having kids?
It is basically the same thing that I have been saying, that when you truly love and care for yourself, you will find ways to do it for everybody around you. So if you feel that most of your time is spent taking care of your children, obviously you love them, you want them to be happy, then it is okay to make time to be with your spouse, to have a date night, to, I don't know, go to a museum, whatever you two enjoy doing together. It is perfectly fine to do that. You don't have to feel guilty. Your child is still gonna be there when you come home. All you do is make sure that they're with somebody who is safe, who will take care of them while you spend your quality time with your spouse, which is important because it brings us back to being able to communicate, isn't it? If you are only just talking about the children, the baby,
milk, the pampers,
did you put the trash out, things like that, then your life it becomes, I guess,
you lose the connection, isn't it?
Yes.
Then it just becomes functional. You're just doing, and the emotional connection, takes a backseat.
You feel like a robot. Isn't it?
And that's not good for any relationship, for any marriage, for that matter. So we just encourage families, mom and dad, go for a date, go for date nights. Talk to each other, make time to spend and talk with each other, because it's really important to have a healthy relationship.
I mean, you could even have like a theme night.
Okay. Like what?
It's, let's say that you feel that certain things are not going as you would like them to go. And instead of arguing with each other, you decide then and this time, there and then, we are going to sit down and discuss this. It will help with your communication. It will help with getting to know each other, connecting more with each other. And so you have a theme. Another time it might be about, the children's birthday gifts. But instead of just talking about what they would like to have, what is it that we could really special we could do for them to feel loved and taken care of, things like that. You can also be discussing with your spouse.
Interesting. I think I read somewhere where they said, I think it was somewhere on social media, where someone was saying that for them they have monthly meetings, monthly meetings for the marriage. Not to talk about anything related about the kids, nothing at all. It's to talk about and check in. How is the marriage? How are you feeling about me? How are we doing? And then you say, oh, maybe I feel like this. Maybe we could change this, and then you also give your own view of what it is, and then you're like, okay, how can I be better for you? So then they ask each other how they can be better for each other. I think that's a good approach.
It's important then, though, that you agree on a day of the month, isn't it? That you don't schedule anything else, because the worst thing that can happen is that you wake up that day, you think, oh, it's the third Sunday of the month, I'm supposed to have a meeting with my husband, my wife, and then they come and tell you, sorry,
I have other plans.
My friend is having a birthday party. I'm going. No, you make sure you keep that date
Yeah.
for them. Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
also.
everybody in your family should know not to bother you that day.
Yeah, well, I think that's nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, any last words?
Yeah. Again, I want to reiterate and really, really put it in your heart that it is so important to put yourself first.
Yeah.
You don't have to feel guilty about that. You don't have to, beat yourself up over that. It's actually, you are not being selfish. You are caring, and you are able to love and care better for others when you care about yourself first.
Wow. I cannot, add anything on top of that. Thank you so much, Mimi. Thank you for, being with us today. And I'm sure that you come back again.
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
We'll talk about something else.
Something different.
I have so much to say.
Yeah. All right.
Do subscribe, hit the bell, or whatever you're doing.
Yeah, hit the notification bell and
hit it. Yeah.
and subscribe.
Yeah.
Until next time. Bye.